So here is my recommendation. Okay. If you are dealing with a child custody battle and you want to know what's the best way to get through it, I'm going to tell you, if I had to do it again, here's what I would do. If you have the money to get a lawyer, and I mean the money, not I can scrape together a couple $1,000s. No, I mean you are sitting on gobs and gobs of cash. If that is your situation, then hire an attorney, the best one that you can find. If you're not, it does not matter. It's not a big deal. The only reason to hire an attorney is to decrease your stress. Dealing with this kind of situation with child custody is very stressful. And there are lots of times, especially if you're a single parent, where you need to focus your energy and efforts on your children. They are most important. And if I had it to do again and I had the money, I would definitely get an attorney. However, I didn't have the money. I got an attorney because I was afraid of not having one, and I regret it. So I'm telling you, if you have the money, get one. But if you don't, please don't. I was in the situation where I sold my house and I, gave my attorney way more than I should have. And it caused my daughter and I to be homeless. And so if I had it to do again, I would have just done it pro se because it didn't make a difference. And it was not worth sacrificing our well-being and what was in the best interest of us to get an attorney. So I'm telling you, do not waste your money. Now, if I were in the situation again and I was going to scrape up some money, I would use that money for a divorce coach. Now, there's a lady, I think her name is Tina Swiven, and if I had it to do again, I would have hired her. I researched her, and I did get a consultation with her, but her rate was more expensive than the attorneys. And so for me, I didn't understand how that would benefit me. Now, I couldn't understand why you would get a divorce coach if you can't afford an attorney and the divorce coach is more expensive than the attorney. Then why in the world, how is that helpful? Remember when I was telling you that a lot of times your case will get continued? Well, they still charge you. If they have to sit in court for 8 hours for the judge to say, hey, I'm not going to see the case today, it's going to get continued, they're charging you for the entire 8 hours. So much of your time and energy is wasted, and is wasted with you having to pay their hourly rate. So with a divorce coach, you don't have that problem. They're not dealing with that system. They're not going in that system. They're trying to help you navigate it. And so their hourly rate is only spent on what is important, what is helpful, and they're going to charge you way less hours, if that makes sense. So their job is literally to say, what is the least amount of paperwork and evidence and things that I need? Let me help you get it as quickly as you can so that you can focus on your children. That is the benefit of a divorce coach. So if you say, hey, I'm going to scrounge up something to be able to pay somebody, pay a divorce coach, because they are going to help you be able to be as stress-free as you can as a pro se person. They will help make sure that when you do go to court, you have everything you need, that your evidence is actually able to be admitted, and that you are not spinning your wheels and wasting your time doing things that you don't have to do. They also will review the correspondence that's from the other side and all those things, but they will do it in a way that is efficient and that is not going to waste your time. Especially if you will work with someone like Tina Swiven or her team. Those are all women that have been through toxic marriages and divorces. And so they understand the difference between this is an important piece of communication and this is just you trying to waste my time and suck up money. Plus, because they are more familiar with reading legal documents, it takes them less time to read through a document than it would you. Also have the option of reading through the documents yourself and just asking them about the items that you don't understand. And with the invention of ChatGPT, I mean, really, it's just going to be a lot less hours to work with them than it's going to be to work with an attorney. Last thing that I would do is that I would make it my strategy to get the very minimum done and paperwork wise, and I would spend the rest of the time in prayer. And not just prayer begging God that you win this case. Prayer as in I'm studying the word, I'm asking the Lord to speak to me through the scriptures, and I am asking him to speak to me audibly. At the end of the day, what you need is his strategy on how to win this case, how to do what is in his will and your best interest for your child. He will give you instructions on how to do that. And his instructions are going to be a lot easier and a lot less stress than you trying to figure it out in that system. Ask him what his plan is, what his righteous verdict is, and how to get it. That is literally what I did in my case in order to be able to get freedom. But it took me years of fighting with that system to realize that that is what I needed to do. It was the first few, like 4 years of me simply just begging God to let the judge see, my side of my point of view, or let the other attorney not be so hateful, or those kinds of things. None of that stuff matters, and that's a waste of your prayers. Don't waste your time on any of that stuff. Your prayers need to be, God, what is your plan for this case, and what do I need to do to accomplish it? If you will pray that prayer, then all of the things that I told you about this system will not matter to you, because you will get what God has for you without dealing with that kind of frustration. So you wanted to know my advice for somebody who has been through that system, has experienced the worst that it has to offer? Then this is my advice to you. I hope it helps. I am Amanda Nicole, and I am the CEO of Freedom Through Divorce. And so I create personal development courses and ebooks and all kinds of things that are geared towards women of God who have been through divorce, who are considering divorce, and who want to move towards freedom and finding their purpose in God. So what is Freedom Through Divorce? Well, Freedom Through Divorce is actually an online school full of personal development courses for women of God who have been through divorce or who are considering divorce. Anyone who has had to deal with divorce understands that it is extremely difficult. There are so many balls that you have to juggle. Will the children be okay? Is this something that God is going to be okay with? How does it affect my relationship with God? How am I going to learn how to be independent as a new single person or a new single mom? And there's so many things you have to consider. And as a Christian, there are just so few resources out there to help you understand how to navigate those things. So this is a school that really goes from considering divorce and understanding God's views on divorce, when it's acceptable, when it's not acceptable, and understanding that there are so many more cases where God sees divorce as acceptable than what is normally taught out there. And it does it in a way that is not condescending, that's not judgmental, that is just giving you the information from God's heart. And most importantly, is from someone that's been through what you're going through. It's not just theology. It's not just, I read this or I heard this, but it's someone that's actually walked through it. So the personal development courses are meant to help you move and experience freedom through divorce, because there's so many people who they get a divorce, but they don't thrive afterwards. They stay stuck. They stay bitter. They stay telling anyone that'll listen how terrible their ex is. And that's not God's plan for you. God wants you to be able to move towards the purpose and plan that he has for your life and to thrive so that the chapter of your life post-divorce is better. That's what the word says. It says your latter days shall be greater than the former days. So that's what Freedom Through Divorce is all about. It's personal development courses that you can take the information from a biblical perspective and experiencing God's freedom, his prosperity, his love, his joy, his peace, all of the fruits of the Spirit and the blessings that he sent his son to die for you to be able to have. Just because you've had to go through a divorce does not mean that you are negated from the promises that God has for you. So that's what Freedom Through Divorce is. If you're interested in learning more, visit our school today.